Simon Cowell is taking over the world, one hit single at a time.
He is an A-list Hollywood superstar now.
The scale of his success is staggering. He sold 150 million records, had 100 number ones, and his shows are seen in more than 40 countries. He's had a bigger global impact than swine flu. We love you, Simon!
They were lit hoardings of Simon Cowell everywhere. I just kept walking into his face.
When primary school children were asked to name the most famous person in the world, top of the list? Not Beckham, not Father Christmas. Even God was beaten into second place by Simon Cowell.
There's absolutely no room for second in our business.
He's unbelievably competitive to a ridiculous degree.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so.
I know so.
This man has changed TV, making stars of ordinary people. And the dreams of some into reality.
We love the dreadful ones, and we love when someone unknown comes through that's seen to have real talent.
But his ascent to fame and fortune has been no easy ride.
Basically, he was the lowest form of life.
And on the way, he's learnt all about failure.
He was down to his last £5.
The rug was pulled from under his feet one day and ended up with nothing.
How did Simon turn that fiver into a £120 million fortune? He's a millionaire, a man of the people, and secretly he's a bit of a softie. Oh, just look at that little dog.
And what Simon has is incredible populist instincts.
Simon Cowell, where did it all go right? Simon Cowell seems to be rich, rude and arrogant, the sort of man that only a mother could love. And we've talked to his mum.
I think he always did care about how he looked.
His brother.
He's not frowning very well these days for some reason.
Piers Morgan.
By the end of any long audition session, you basically want to kill him.
And everyone who really knows him. To find out the secret of his success.
Our image of him is a very kind of a baddie, a nasty, Mr. Nasty.
I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Amazingly dreadful.
He will be honest, and he will put people down.
All I could think of when you were performing is how I would pay you to stop.
If you accept that shows like X Factor and Britain's Got Talent are theatre, then you need good guys and bad guys. And Cowell is the bad guy. It's like in the old days with the wrestling, you'd have people like Big Daddy, who was a good guy, and they'd have giant haystacks who everyone hated. Cowell is basically a 21st century giant haystacks, only slightly hairier.
But that's the Simon we know today. Hitmaker, ladies' man and style icon. You'll be surprised to learn he wasn't born like that. To find out how he went from hate figure to hero, we need to go back to his roots, which were anything but common. Simon didn't have it easy. He had it really easy. Born in 1959, he grew up in Elstree. His father was a successful businessman in property. And Simon had to make do with living in this humble mansion. We all know that Simon can be a very nasty man. But how early did it all start? Let's ask his mum.
Difficult child, I'd say, yes. I've got to be honest, yes. Knew what he wanted and sent you balmy to try and get it. But I've got quite a strong mother, I should put it on. But he was one of these children that absolutely made his mind up at a very early age, which is sometimes unusual, that, isn't it?
And to help him get what he wanted, he had a partner in crime. They both drank sherry, wore the same crushed velvet suits, and had matching hairstyles. And they still do. This is Nicholas, Simon's younger brother, and when they got together, they were a right little handful.
We were always in trouble. I mean, I think, you know, ever since I can remember, we were always in trouble. We were always doing something. I think our sort of big thing was smoking as early as we possibly can and drinking as early as we can. But, you know, we went to school, we didn't skip school or things like that, but we just had a good time, as I think all kind of kids do, really. Probably worse than most.
Even at an early age, they were always competing with each other. Whatever one did, the other one had to do. It worked both ways with Nicholas and Simon. Very positive to want to outdo the other one, yes. whatever it may be, yeah.
But he was always a very competitive person. I mean, it wasn't so much being the cleverest or, it certainly wasn't about bullying people or things like that. It was about sort of, getting what you wanted at the end of the day, whether it was, getting a packet of cigarettes or getting fireworks or, getting into an X film at the age of 15 or something like that. It was all about, sort of breaking boundaries, really, which I think are still being broken today.
Simon has pulled off some incredible feats in his time. He's got away with Il Divo, Owen Quigg, and other crimes against Pop. And he even got away with crashing into his dad's car. The teenage Simon could be very sneaky.
As he reversed in the driveway, he smashed into my dad's car, breaking the glass. And then he kind of walked up to my dad's car, picked up the glass and walked to the front of the house and dropped it. Then he got into my dad's car, let the handbrake off and rolled it into the house, and then drove off. And so the next morning, we were having breakfast and my dad kind of went outside and opened the door and saw his car in front of the house. And my mum got the blame because she was the last one to use it, and we just suggested that she left the handbrake off and it was completely her fault.
Simon was a bad, bad boy, and luckily girls always love a bad boy, even when he's aged 9.
Tara Miller used to come to my house to play, and I always noticed that Simon rather liked her.
Simon's first crush, Tara, was 8 years old at the time, but the age difference didn't seem to bother him. We spent at least half an hour tracking her down in the phone book and took her back to the very woods where a momentous event occurred.
Well, our first kiss came about because we used to play a game called Spin the Bottle, and the bottle span on a girl, the bottle span on a boy, and it met me and it met him. So we had our first kiss, which was a moment that was to be sort of kept away from everybody else. This is the fence that I used to climb across to get to my horse that we kept in the field at the bottom of Simon's house. And in fact, just a little bit up here, up on the hill, is the bottom of Simon's garden. And it's the place where the famous first kiss took place.
If she'd hung on to him, one day Tara would have been able to have all the horses she wanted, but it wasn't to be. You just can't tie a man like Simon down. It was tough being Simon, having girlfriends with horses. How did he transform into the heroic man of the people we know today? First, he would have to taste the bitter pill of failure.
He was down to his last £5. He used it to get a taxi home to his mum.